What
There we
up,
go.
guys? Are we good?
What's
We
up?
live? Okay, yeah, it is Sunday. So what we're gonna do today is we're just gonna talk, man. Gonna talk about everything that happened in the week, in the past week, and what we think is coming up next week. But it's Sunday, man. We're all out doing stuff, but we make sure that we're here every day to give you guys some form of update. And yeah, what's going on?
War, man. War keeps on happening.
Yeah, the war, huh? I
You
mean,
know?
it's funny because we're all like, I'm pretty sure Tiki is like the guy to talk to about the war. But let's go over just like the Bitcoin price first, like how the Bitcoin price acted all week last week. We started off early in the week around like in the 60 something range, and we went all the
Yeah.
way up to 73, right? So we've seen like a 10K, you know, bounce back and forth. So we're kind of ranging in that area, right? And it's all of technical analysis that I've looked at says that if we go under, in the high 60s, like 65, 66, we're probably going to see a sharp turn down. But if we can break the 74 resistance, we're going to get to 80 pretty quickly. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens, and
Yeah,
we're
we
like 70,
started we
72
started at
today, right?
65 this week. And then like you said, we almost hit 74. We just barely almost touched it. And then we've
Yeah.
been hovering around
So
70,
that
71.
resistance is real, right? So that
Yeah.
74 resistance is
In
real.
that
So it's
range,
like
like you
we're
said,
seeing it.
65, mid 70s.
We'll see if we tap it a couple more times if it gets rejected. That's how you can always tell because it's never the first one, right? It always kind of touches a few times and then either breaks through or just gets just nuked down. So I think like this week we'll probably test it at least once or twice more and then see
Hmm.
if we can break through.
Yeah. I
What
mean,
do you
even if you
think?
look at the last 30 days, like it's 69. Like from today, 30 days ago, it was at 69, went all the way down to almost 62. And then it's just again been hovering 74, then back down, then back 74. So
Yeah, so like
been a
we're
good
ranging,
range,
right?
I think.
It's really good. And I think next thing we should talk about is like what's causing it, right? Which is probably Tiki can step in and talk a lot about what he thinks on like a geopolitical base of like why it's doing that and like what's going on in the world.
Let's go, Neil.
Take a break from pretending that we're technical analysis guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Well, that's our bot. We're just
But
going based off what our bot
yeah.
is saying
Hey,
to
bro,
us.
that's the same thing that anybody does. They just have computers telling them what the
Listen,
technical
all if
analysis
you're
is.
not using AI to give you technical
that's what
analysis, you don't know what you're talking about.
that's what it sells, right? Guys like numbers and gadgets.
Yeah,
What gadgets and bots are you using? The more the merrier, right?
Yeah, look at
and
that.
a lot of it's self fulfilling, right? Like everybody just if they think they're supposed to do something, then that's what they do. So
I don't
like,
know. I mean, I'm looking at the price right now. It's 71.5. Ethereum's 2100, which I mean, it looks good that it's staying strong above 2K. I think that looks pretty good under the circumstances, and you gotta wonder, because right now we know we've heard that there's a lot of censorship going on in Israel. They're not like releasing much of anything. And a lot of those little Arab nations that are being attacked and bombed in retaliation. There's a lot of millionaire billionaires that live in places like Dubai, and I have to imagine that they're panicking and freaking out because the reason why a lot of people moved there is because it was at one point considered the
safe haven.
safest place
Yeah.
on earth, crypto friendly, tax friendly, and now you're like, oh, by the way, you're not as safe as you thought. You could get bombed at any moment. Maybe you want to put all your money back into Bitcoin and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and a lot of people are doing
Um,
that. I know a lot of people that are out there in Dubai, or probably not anymore, but a lot of my crypto friends that are doing very well this cycle, or just happen to be rich dudes, they all moved to Dubai, and a lot of them got the hell out of there, right? Because if you're a wealthy dude, you're not sitting around, even if there's like a glimmer of chance that you could be bombed, you're getting the hell out of there.
Hell yeah.
well, like normies still think they don't understand really what decentralization and self-custody actually means. So if you're talking with the normie, they're going to say like, put your money in gold or you should put your money in precious metals or you should why don't you put your money in whatever it is, real estate,
Index
whatever.
funds. Yeah.
Every single one of those though requires some form of a middleman, which means that you are always at the mercy of the systems that the
Yep.
middlemen have, the banks, whatever. Whereas if
Well, the
I
entire
was in Dubai,
systems, every system's built off middlemen, right? Like that's how it works. That's how everyone makes their money. That's how
well,
things,
except
you
for
know what I mean?
Bitcoin.
Except for
Ex-
Bitcoin, right?
But the point is I would be trying if I was a rich guy in Dubai, I would be trying to get as much money into Bitcoin now, just in case it gets a lot worse, because they've already said, Iran said that our next our next stage will be to attack financial infrastructure, which means the banking systems and all that. So I'd have to imagine that there's a lot of people running on the bank, but if you're not a crypto guy, what you don't know what to do, right? You don't know where to put your money. What are you going to do? Take it out in cash?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that there's a lot of Bitcoin buying, maybe not from the big giant institutions, but just from a lot of people that are starting to realize that Bitcoin and crypto do give you that freedom to where you can jump from one country to the other as long as there's some form of the ability to basically use your crypto and convert it to whatever currency in the country. So we know there's a lot of other countries that are a lot, they're relatively friendly. I mean, even now here where I am in Costa Rica, if you have crypto, there are solutions now where there didn't used to be just a couple of years ago. Like it was impossible. And
Yeah.
if you even mentioned anything to do with crypto on your bank, your bank got shut down. But
Yep.
now there's
Yeah.
actually solutions against that. There's actually online banking where you can open up and they're connected to exchanges and you can convert money, this and that. I mean, it's still a little bit of a pain in the ass, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
call this place a crypto friendly haven, but it's possible. But if you go to El Salvador, it's even easier. I think it's easier in
I mean, even
other.
aside from like, even if you want to go the OTC route, it's not hard to find people that want to give you money for your Bitcoin. Like, it's pretty anywhere I've gone in
Yeah.
the world. I've traveled everywhere. I live in Las Vegas, dude. I can hit up a guy and I have money delivered to me within an hour just by talking to a few people. So it's like, yeah, like there's infrastructure for it to do it all, like
I
with
mean,
different off ramps, but like you can literally still just hit people up if you don't have
yeah.
large amounts of money. Let's say 10 grand. It's very easy to get 10 grand for Bitcoin pretty much
And as the
everywhere in the
demand
world
goes
now.
up, and as the demand goes up, more and more people want it, and more people. But you still need the local currency. But the
Yeah.
thing is like even if you're thinking, well, I want to get out of Dubai and I want to go someplace like, say, the Philippines, or I want to go to Japan. A lot of people are going to Japan because real estate was cheap there. Well, now Japan is probably one of the worst places to go because their dependency on the oil
The
from the
oil,
Persian
yeah.
Gulf is like 80% or somewhere around there, which means that in about a month, they're going to be in real trouble if the Strait of Hormuz does not um, continue shipping
See?
oil tankers, which means that now that's off, right? So you're slowly Xing off countries. So it's nice to have the freedom to be able to up, go, up, go, up, go, and not be stuck in a bank or something.
Yeah.
I think the world is going to really start to realize the value of Bitcoin. I just think people are still stuck. Even the so-called smart guys are still stuck in the whole like, what goes up? Where is the speculative vehicle that, that's all I care about. But when it starts to turn into you have no choice,
Yep.
the only way that you actually can keep your freedom and you can get on a plane or get anywhere and you don't have to worry about carrying a big duffel bag of gold or cash. Crypto is the only thing that allows you to do that. And I don't suggest stable coins because those are centralized.
Centralized. Yeah. So
Super
like
centralized.
we always talk about it, right? Like when do things actually go into play? It's when you have to, right? Like when things are forced and like you have to use crypto, which is kind of a lot of places you're being forced into it, right? And then everybody learns it and then it just becomes like the internet, right? Or like emails where you can't live without an email address anymore. You got to have email. Crypto is kind of headed in that direction, and sometimes it takes things like the war and things where people are forced into having to use it to where the world
Mhm.
just adopts it fully.
I mean,
Yep.
during times of war, gold usually did really, really well. So we still have that kind of memory, right? But the thing is gold is still just a certificate. I mean, any type of gold investment that people have, it's usually in some form of a certificate of
Yeah.
ownership that you own
Well,
this.
guys, it's the first. This is the second
Well,
week in a row that it's outperformed gold as a hedge, right? We're seeing what's happening, and people they're choosing Bitcoin over gold, right now, and it's like the numbers don't lie, right? It's the war's been going on for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, we've been beating out gold for a hedge. That's not, the correlation's a real thing, right?
yeah.
I mean, Bitcoin does its thing. It quietly grows and it quietly builds strength in the background when people aren't paying attention. Then all of a sudden it explodes into relevancy and then everybody tries like anything, everybody tries to jump on board
Way too.
when it's
Well, I
already
wouldn't say
started.
too late, but you're not picking the opportune time to get in when it's right in front of you. It's always the same thing, right? Everybody you talk to around you that says they want to get into crypto, it's never now. It's when it's at all-time highs.
Yep.
Everybody wants to get
Well,
into Bitcoin or crypto.
I mean, that's what the gold bugs were having, right? With that euphoria, seeing it pump up so high and going up from like basically
Yeah.
16, two thousand
Everyone's buying
dollars all
gold.
the way to
Yeah.
5,000.
It's
It's
just a
all
human
going
nature
with
thing,
people.
right?
Yeah.
It's
but
like,
now, but it's different because it's not now people are using it as a just like a lifeline. It's not even about does it go up in
yeah,
value. It's about
yeah, yeah.
just I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
my
Survival.
yeah.
money. I need
Just
money accessible to me. And then they did that
being able to
when it
store your
started, right?
value that you already have.
You
Yeah.
remember what happened when the war first began? They were showing the statistics of people in Iran buying as much Bitcoin as they could because they knew that this was going to be bad. They knew that banks and everything, all that shit was going to get shut down. So people were panicking to try to get get Bitcoin as quickly as they could.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because if your money's locked in a bank, you can't get out of the country.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere if you got no money. Like, what are you gonna do? You're stuck.
But if you got crypto, you can actually buy airplane tickets with crypto, and you can at least get
Yep.
the hell out. You know.
They have sites, like, to name drop, they got like even Travala, right? Like,
Hmm.
you can buy airplane tickets, you can buy, and with a bunch of different crypto, not just Bitcoin. Use Solana, you can use whatever you want.
Yeah.
And when we talk about Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin's the king, like crypto as a whole, man, like there's a lot of the top coins have crazy liquidity. You can get in and out, and they're being accepted the same way. Anywhere I've gone, I can give Solana, I can give Ethereum. It's like they don't care. They'll take any, you might have to convert it to stablecoin to before right before you give it to them, but like you can use most big
Yeah,
cryptos
as long as
around the
it's
world
liquid,
now.
like really liquid, a lot of these places will accept anything. I mean, we've seen places accept Pepe, you know what I'm saying? Because it was so liquid.
Yeah. The
So,
one shitty thing about Bitcoin is it's slow. You know what I mean? It might take you an hour to get it transferred,
well,
but
with the
But
Lightning
anyway,
Network and
that's
stuff,
not. But that's not slow when you're comparing it to like to banks going from country to
oh yeah.
country,
No, what I
yeah,
mean
you
is
or
mean
like
like
what I mean is
a
if you want
Western
to
Union
How
or
transact.
about
something?
Western Union? You know, like
Yeah,
that's
those
not
take
slow.
forever.
What I
Yeah.
mean is if you want to transact quickly, like I always keep some Solana, right? And if they accept Solana, it's a lot quicker.
Or
But you can always just trade
base
it
is
or
actually huge
base,
for
right? There's
that.
ways you can instantly, like literally instantly transact, right? And
Hmm.
Bitcoin may take a few hours, which is still fast as hell comparatively, and you can't stop it, right? The main thing is they can't freeze it. They can't stop it and say you can't send this. So
Yeah.
like regardless of if it took a 24 hours or 1 hour, it doesn't matter as long as there's nobody that
Yeah,
can
we're in a time now
interject
with
and stop it.
crypto. We're in a time now with crypto where the infrastructure has been built. You know, when we first started, there wasn't a lot of on and off ramps. There was a lot of pushback on those things because there was no regulation. People didn't know what was going on. But nowadays, like the infrastructure's there, you know, like you can easily on and off ramp on so many different platforms. So
Yeah.
that's why these people were
Well,
moving their
let's
money
talk
into
about
Bitcoin.
what happened this week, right? So like yeah, Bitcoin is obviously it's like the main focus is the war and everybody is
Oil going
buying
up,
Bitcoin. So the price of oil
staying above 100 for like 2 days straight, or probably 3 days straight
how
now.
much is over there? Because gas here in Vegas in the West Coast is about $4.50 to $5. That's what we're looking at right now, and that's gone up just in the past few weeks. What about over there where you are, Tiki? Like has the gas like risen a lot?
My son went and filled up all of our extra gas tanks the other day because I told him like just make sure because we don't live that close to a gas station. We're about 45 minutes from the closest gas station. So we keep a lot of
Careful.
5 gallons for our quads and motos because we have actually more quads and motorcycles than we actually do vehicles.
Keep them right
Um,
next to the stove, right?
I mean, it's just the way it is around here, right? It's dirt
Yeah.
roads, it's the wild, wild west, and but you don't really travel that far either, you know. So we don't use gas the way. So I asked him, and he didn't even know. He was like, I don't know. I think it was around the same. I don't think we've really felt it here
Mm.
yet, but that
It's
You
it's
guys are
funny. I
closer
mean,
to countries that provide oil to you guys, you know. It's not like you have to worry about having it delivered from
you know
so
what the
far away.
marker is in the US? It's always $5. Like if gas is above $5, everyone starts freaking out, and if it's
But
below
that's
it,
only in
like
certain areas, man. Like that's like in Texas, te gas goes
always
above
above $5
250.
here.
Yeah, gas goes above
yeah,
250. Texans are tripping out because gas is
yeah,
so cheap. They have like oil reserves everywhere, you know, so it's cheap there. So when
yeah.
they see it go up and they're feeling it, then that's how you know everyone else is feeling it even more.
it makes you realize how important it is, right? Like something like gas prices going up, which is such an everyday thing you deal with that you don't even think about. It's like I got to fill
Hmm.
my tank up. I got to do this. Airplane. Like it's not just cars. Like flights. It's going to be more expensive for planes to travel. It's going to be more expensive for boats. Like just travel in general or commute is gonna if it goes up exponentially, dude, that affects people's lives in such a big way that you don't even think
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
according to the internet, the gas price here is, and it's probably a little bit more expensive down where I am, but it's about $5. It's like
Okay, so
5.50,
we're looking at
5.20.
$5, right?
An average of
And
five.
there's
Yeah.
let's just say worst case scenario, the war keeps kind of drags on, and there's no like solution, no deals are made. We go up to $10 a gallon, right? Which it's a possibility. Like that's very real possibility that barrels are going to be $200 at some point, maybe higher, right? What does that do to the country, or what does that do to just the world? If every because this doesn't just affect the U.S. This affects so many at like every ally country, right? If you're basically saying that you're an ally with the US, you're getting screwed on oil. Like you ain't getting oil. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Well, we've
So
never seen anything like this. So this is new territory.
yeah.
You know, once like if it doesn't get opened up, the Strait of Hormuz, and countries like even China run out of their billion cans of oil. That sounds like a lot, but they'll burn through that in a month and a
Well,
half, 2 months.
also, right? Let's just say they do get come to a solution, but it takes a long time. Like all that time, that
Barrels
that
of
that
oil. That was the word I was
that'll
looking
like
for.
that'll really set a country back, right? Like if they're not getting oil, whatever, for a month, like that can be like devastating to a country, right? And then another thing is all these ally countries, when their people are getting screwed from some war they didn't even want to be in, they're going to start having to decide which side they're on, right? They're going to say, okay, hold up, we don't even want to be over there. It's fully affecting our country, and why? Just because we're allies with the U.S. and Israel, or whatever. So they're going to start making negotiations and deals to get what they need for their people, right? It's not even like they're not even
Hmm.
picking sides. They're just taking care of their people, right? So it's like you that conversation starts happening. And what's the best way to start attacking the US? It's not with bombs. It's with getting allied countries to start shifting away, getting, you know what I mean? It's like the long game, right? And like that's the
Or
scary part about it.
just an uprising of your civilians because it's becoming so unaffordable so quickly.
Yeah.
And then they have the
So
midterm elections, which is not going to look good if things get out of hand in the next month.
yeah, it's true. That is true. It goes so much deeper. That's why it's funny when I go online and there's always one or two guys with a comment they're like, "This isn't a real war. It's going to be over." I'm like, I don't think you're really reading into like how deep it goes, and how many things are connected to it. It's not always just about bombs being hit. It's like, this could be kind of really messing the whole infrastructure up
I mean,
on
if
a world scale.
you're looking at news on Fox, CNN, CNBC, it's all propaganda BS. It's very difficult to find the truth. It's so difficult to find the
Hey, let's
truth
talk
right
about
now.
this. Let's talk about this AI Netanyahu thing. Everyone's talking about like, oh, is this because so he put out a video. He's been missing for I don't know how long, right? Nobody's heard from him. A lot of people think he was bombed and killed. A lot of people think it's nonsense or he was just hiding. But he put out a video today of him at a coffee shop, looking all happy, grabbing a coffee, just talking to. I don't know what he was saying, obviously, but it didn't seem like a guy that was feared for his life or was being bombed. And they're in like a coffee shop. There's a guy with a mask on in the background with glasses on. The coffee's not spilling. I'm not saying it's AI, but a lot of people think that it's not a real video. And obviously it's the internet, so it's gonna go. That's what people are focusing on.
It's
But it's a little strange, right?
a weird video. I mean, if you ask Grok says it doesn't appear to be fake, nor does it appear to be old. But why would that be the video that you put up after 5 days in the middle of a war? Why wouldn't you address
And
something?
what does he say? Do you guys know what he says?
I don't
Like,
know
is
what he
it
says.
translated?
No.
Yeah, you can translate it. You can go to
Yeah,
Grok.
but I
I
mean, that's
believe there's
also
a
good to know, right? The context of how he's speaking and what he's saying. Like, if it doesn't sound like he's speaking of anything important, is when this
I
shit
don't know.
happens, you know?
It just seems like it's just a weird video to put up on social media after like the
Yeah.
second completed week of a war. What's the purpose? Why that? Like it's just weird.
You know, AI
Yeah.
is so
It's super
crazy right
weird.
now. We're going through an era where we're going to have so much of this
I'll
where
tell
we're
you
not going
what
to know
though.
what's real, what's fake.
Yeah.
And, You know,
Dude, if
just
that is fake, let's just say that they find out that's a fake
the
video. That
deep
is
fake.
goddamn good AI, bro. Like it's almost scarier on a level of like it's getting so good. Like imagine in 3 to 5 years, you will not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
You
Well,
won't.
deep
It'll
fake
be
5 years
impossible.
ago versus deep fakes now are probably on a whole nother level, you
I
know?
think it's best case scenario he wasn't killed, right? Because then you make him a martyr, and it's just never good, right? No one dying is good, but it's like, you know, it's just that video was so weird, bro. It just does not make any sense. And how long was he missing for? Like, how long had it been since nobody had heard from him?
Like five or
I don't
six
know.
days.
Yeah. So, and just like the body language and stuff, it was just really strange. So if you get a second, go check out the video. I'm sure you've probably seen it if you know what we're talking about. But just the whole thing is weird, man. The whole world, this entire world is weird, bro. The past 10 years, I am convinced we're in a simulation. There's no way that this isn't some form of simulation that we're dealing with here.
100%.
Okay, you guys, let's talk about some degen stuff now. So as we talked about all this serious geopolitical nonsense, now let's talk about some degen stuff. What happened in the space? Meme coins have actually. I've been saying this, right? So meme coins are they're separating themselves from the market in a weird way, right? Everything is just dictated on like world events or what the hottest meme is. So it's not really dictated solely on Bitcoin or how the market's doing. Yeah, when the market's ripping, there's more money, so more people are going to do it. But there's pockets where meme coins are just running, and there's been coins that have gone up to like 4 million. I think one went to 10 million, the distorted one, and there's a lot of action there still because it's not directly tied to just the market or like how Bitcoin's doing. And then you have new things constantly being innovated, right? So they just on Pump.Fun, which is obviously the number one place to launch meme coins in the world, and they just implemented a thing with AI bots where I don't know if it's a real AI agent, but they're calling them agents where you can attach it to the coin and it can buy and sell just without you doing anything, right? So the agent's doing it. It's doing burns, buybacks, and that's kind of what's been ripping right now. There's been a couple that have run up to the million range, and they got launched yesterday, and it's kind of a big deal in the meme coin space because it's just like a new iteration of implementing like AI into coins, and I think it's gonna keep going that direction. You know what I mean? Have you guys seen it?
I just saw it recently on the page, but I haven't seen any coins yet. So I don't know how it
Yeah,
works.
I mean it's cool. Obviously it's like when they did the streaming thing. Like it
Hmm.
gets real hot for a second, everybody does it, and then they're meme coins, so they all die, and then people just kind of move on to the next thing. Like what's next? What's new? So
Yeah.
like we'll see where this goes, but like it's kind of a cool idea, right? Because you're eliminating the dev, which is like you have to trust the guy. You have to trust that he's going to be buying back and burning, and that's 99% of the time they're not going to do it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
scammers.
Yeah. I'm sure
But
if
if
you
you
had it on
implement,
autopilot, it'd be so much easier for people to have confidence in that coin because
yeah,
they're like,
it's
oh, we
about
know it's
building
just going to
confidence.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it could be really good. Like I think it's a good step towards like a little more trust in things, but there's always ways to game everything, right? So, but it's kind of cool. I thought it was like a cool little news article about meme coins that things are
I'm
still
sure,
being
yeah, I'm
innovated
sure they'll
on.
add more AI to it too, some more features that AI does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So,
I think it's kind of a cool direction, and the beauty is you get to choose, right? You can either launch a coin normally, or you can use that, and I don't see why you wouldn't. If everybody wants you to buy back and burn, and you know, why wouldn't you use like an AI bot that kind of helps the token along, right?
yep.
At the end of the day, it's still whoever gets in earliest is always in charge, right? If you have the biggest, the most supply, you kind of own the coin, right?
It's usually how it goes. That's
So
why
yeah, that
everyone's
that that was
fighting
kind of
for on
cool.
Bitcoin right now.
I'd say that's the biggest news in the meme coin space is that iteration of pump fund tokens. Other than that, it's just it's kind of sideways, man. But there is action. There's still places
Yeah.
to make money. I made
Well,
some
let's
SOL last
recap, right?
night.
So Bitcoin is hovering around a $10,000 range between 65 and 75. We want it to see it
Yep.
go up, but I think everyone's still watching what's happening with the war and oil prices and stuff to see where the price of Bitcoin is going to go. And then, there's actually a meeting happening here next week, I think, or yeah, next week. And it's about rate cuts, but I don't think any rate cuts are going to happen. So
Do you know
because
when
they're still
Bitcoin
watching the
Vegas
war.
is? Do you know when that is? What the date?
I think April.
Yeah, so there's Bitcoin Vegas coming here. We'll see how good that does, right? Because the market, but we'll probably go check it out. We'll go down there and just see what's going on one day. Film
Yeah.
it. go meet with some people and see how it's good to go to conferences too. Sometimes just to see, you can feel what the sentiment is in the industry when you
Oh
go to a
yeah,
conference, right?
for
Like
sure.
you can
I
tell, like
remember I
good.
went to ETH Denver like a year prior before the bull market started. Like we were at the end of a bear market. So like the sentiment wasn't bad, but it was like, okay, people were starting to get their feet wet back into doing stuff and promoting stuff. And then I went that following year where the bull market was raging, everything was good, everybody was
It's party
happy,
time.
so many
Party
booths,
time.
having
Yeah.
yeah, having a good time. And then I went when everything went back down and it was the beginning of a bear market, and then the
Yeah.
sentiment you can feel it, man.
You
So
guys are moping
the
around.
sentiment
Oh.
feeling is real. Like the fear and greed index, that shit's real. Like when you see
Yeah.
fear, people fear. So
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly like the fact that it's such a speculative market in so many ways. It's like if you know how to read it and you just don't do what everyone else is doing, it's a pretty easy market to kind of, pick and choose what you do, right? Like
yep,
when everyone's freaking fearful, if you're buying at the bottom, it's worked every time, every single time,
yep,
like without fail. If you buy Bitcoin at the bottom, you win. It's
yep,
like that's all you got to do.
Yeah, mostly as long as you're following a somewhat conservative strategy, meaning that you're not buying like shitty altcoins or something at the bottom that never
Yeah,
recover.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Because a lot of people will do that. They'll get greedy, right? They'll be like, huh, Bitcoin will probably do a double or triple in the next year and a half, but I would much rather have a 20x. Let me buy, you know, some random altcoin that's 99% down.
I
If it goes
think
back to its previous all-time high.
I think it's good to have like a kind of like a mixed view on it. Like, yeah, be conservative with like 80%. And then it is an industry where you can hit big on things, right? So it's like you don't want to miss out on that. So take a little bit if you can actually do it and just stick to a game plan and you play around with some of your money too. And like maybe you do hit something big or you get some alpha and you can get a 20x, right? But like you're
mhm,
not playing with your
I,
whole
w- I,
stack and doing
I
that.
would, I personally wouldn't play that game in a sideways bear market just because it's against you. I would stay conservative personally and wait till the sentiment is positive, and then you start looking for those gems. That's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
why
a lot of
spend
people
and
got to
risk more
scratch
than
that
you
itch
have to?
though. A lot of people got to scratch that itch. You know what I mean?
yeah. Or you go to Pump Fun and try to make 100 grand real
it,
quick.
it like this market is so it's vast, right? There's so many things you can do, and yeah, you're right. Like when it's down, when we're sideways and down, it's like you have a way harder time to get a big multiples. It's like it like multiplies by 20 the difficulty, right? So,
Mhm.
but if you do want to play around and you want to scratch that itch, just don't do it with a lot. Just take a little bit of play money so you can have some fun because it is a fun industry. It's like a super fun industry if you're in the meme coin space, and dude, it's like nonstop. It's action, right? So
I think there's
if
a
you're
lot of people out there that aren't interested in fun right now. They're just interested in survival. They're interested in they just want to do well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the beauty of it. You get to decide how you want to what you want to do with your money, right? So like there's different conservative ways of doing it, which is probably the best way to do it. But if you do like to have fun and play around, like there's always that too. The meme coin side is always there, right?
Yep.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
the
if you
beauty of
got
it.
if you got
You get to
spare
choose with your own
change,
money.
you got spare change. I just think that because of the uncertainty, a lot of people, especially you know, if you're dealing with a family and you're really just thinking like, I want to be safe into the future. Just remember, the further you scroll down from the number one, the more risk you take.
Yep. The more
I
risk, more
mean,
reward, more risk. It's always
just
that way with
going from
anything.
Bitcoin to Ethereum, the risk goes way up. And then you go from Ethereum down to Cardano, Doge, risk goes way up. So the further you go down that slide, the more risk you're taking. And then you just have
It's
to
like a
ask
parlay.
yourself,
Yeah, it's like a parlay, right? Like you're sports betting. You can bet
I
straight
mean,
bet,
or you
or you
could be
can start
safe and just
parlaying.
hodl XRP.
well, right? There's a time and
Yeah.
place. There's a time and place for things, right? And I don't think for a lot of the majority of people, the time and place is not, it really depends on the stack that you're working with too,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
Yeah, for
saying. Like if
sure.
you got it, like obviously when things are down or sideways, you don't want to be betting all of your money on a meme coin. Hell no.
Yeah, if you have a little bit of less capital, it probably behooves you to just be a little bit more patient and like stick most of your stuff in Bitcoin or something, where it's not going to move or as much, or you're safe with it. But if you do have a little bit extra and you do want to get a little risky, then yeah, there's plenty of other places to go.
It's just good to
do
learn the
that
whole
with.
industry, man. There's so much going on, and then the reality is we all know you want to be ahead of what's coming, right? So if you do get ahead of what the next wave is, timing's everything, and then just knowledge. It's like that's how you make the insane money,
Yep.
because not there's a lot of people that have a very small stack, right? So you're gonna take a little more risk. Like, yeah, you could jump into Bitcoin, but if you only have $1,000, what are you hoping to get? 3 grand, or you're going to go play around and try to turn that into 10, right? And turn that into Bitcoin. So it's like, it all just depends on where you're at and like your risk assessment. But the industry has so many things that you can like kind of get into and then just pick and choose what you like and what you want to go after. But conservative is always probably going to be the way long term for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why they say hodlers in the long run outperform 98% of all traders and day traders. That's just a fact. The majority of day traders and gamblers you get outperformed. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are just looking for an investment or a way to grow their money. And they want something that has a lot of potential and they don't want to take risks. They don't want to gamble. They just want to be in the right thing. And, when you're down at the bottom like this, crypto looks really horrible. It looks bad. Nobody like it. It looks, that's why everybody says, isn't that a scam? Didn't Bitcoin die? Isn't crypto dead? Like, or they'll apologize to you like, I'm so sorry. You ever have people tell you that?
Yeah, but you
I
gotta,
heard
but
about Bitcoin.
like
I'm
to
so
play devil's
sorry.
advocate though, like if you think about it, right? Like I think the smart people think that way, but the vast majority of the retail that came into crypto were playing in the meme coin cycle. They're playing in like the very low cap, like trying to get big wins, right? And it's like the lottery ticket. When people line up to go get a lottery ticket, they'll never hit in a million years, but they keep doing it. It's like the smart thing to do is that, but what people actually do and want to do, it's kind of shown with the numbers, right? Like people are gonna take risks. They're gonna do silly things with their money, right? So it's like,
Because they're
there's a difference
dummies
between the
and they
right.
haven't been educated. It's
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
for
dummies and they
sure,
haven't been educated.
for
That's the
sure, yeah,
problem.
yeah. But like but obviously, like that's what it is always with anybody that makes stupid decisions. But like, if people, I've kind of learned like people are gonna do what they want to do, right? And if the vast majority of retail now wants to get in because they want to try to get 100x, right? I don't think that's going to change. I think people are just going to continue to want to gamble, and you're going to have the smart people that invest into Bitcoin and with bigger
Yeah, I
stacks that
mean,
can
there's a
like take a more
strategy for
conservative
everybody in
route.
this industry, right? And there's plenty of strategies you can go based off of your risk tolerance, based off of how much
Yeah.
funds you got, like so.
One thing that stands true no matter what is the more educated you are in everything, you're going to make better decisions. So like the more
Yep.
you know, the more you research, the more you like get around it, you're just going to be smarter, right? Like that's really the at the end of the day what it is. Like everyone's different. Like you're way more risk averse, Tiki, and you've done really well. And I'm always going to be a little bit of a degen. Like I enjoy it. I love it. It's fun, even though I know I'm probably going to get wrecked here and there. Like everybody's got a different type of mentality. And like, but I've also hit some big stuff, man. Like I've gotten into things that I've gotten 1,000x. You know what I mean? And I'd be like lying if I said that. Oh, it just doesn't happen. That happens, man. If you're in the right place, right time, like you can make life changing money in this game, for sure, 100%.
For
And
sure.
we don't know when it's going to rip, right? We don't know if next month Bitcoin starts taking off, and maybe you jump in at the right time and you're early, right? Like that's the whole fun of it, right? It's like we don't know, nobody knows exactly when things are going to get good or bad, but we do know that there's stuff coming. Like the market heats up, you can get rich in this industry, 100%.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, there's a time and place. And I would say the high speculation is not the time right now. I would say the
I would
time
say
is
I
when
would agree with that.
I would say the time when the time is right and yes, altcoins are ripping and there's a lot of excitement, then yeah, you can
Well,
outperform
so
Bitcoin
for instance,
massively.
let me give you an example. Last cycle, it was dead
Hmm.
just like this, right? It was just like this. Meme coins started popping off. It was about the same. Like coins were running up to a million, nothing crazy. Guess what came along? Pepe. I saw it at 10K, right? And this was in the bear market. So when you would have had to get into that would have been the bear market, right? And that ran up to 8, 10 billion or 14 billion or something.
Yeah,
So
14 bill.
you have these outliers where it's like the
Look at that now.
Doges and a lot of these coins that run up, that go crazy, they always start in the bear market. Like a lot of the meme coins, right? If you're playing in that side. So a lot of the guys that are still playing in the meme coin space, they know that, and they're looking for that next wave of whatever that's going to go crazy into the bull run. If you jump in when the bull run's ripping, you're late a lot of times on some of these meme coins, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you found out about that, that's because you're one of those kind of guys that sits in the trenches all day long. The average person only found out about that when it started to get a lot of coverage, the media started covering it like crazy.
That's what I mean by if you like that side of things, dive
Yeah.
into it, right? Like if you like the high octane craziness, dive into it and learn about it because then you'll be one of the guys that are there,
But
right?
that
And if you're
wasn't
if you're
that
conservative, then just
yeah,
sit back.
that wasn't at the like if you look at the market at the bottom when it was the bottom, it was after the bottom. So all this good stuff happened after we bottomed out.
Yeah, it's at the
And
end of
then
the bear
and,
when
Yeah,
and
it's
but when do you know
slowly.
when the bottom is, right?
well,
We
no,
could have hit
no,
the bottom already.
no, it was at the recovering phase, right? It was when we were well into the recovery phase is when that all started to
Not
kick off.
Pepe, not Pepe. Pepe was in the bear market. It was like the depths of the bear market when that launched, and it was going. The only things that were doing any volume or anything was meme coins, just like now. It's the same thing. Like right now, you're having meme coins go to 10 million. You're having not a lot of them, and it was the same back then because I was there. Like that's what I was doing. We were with SAF. We were like one of the biggest groups for meme coins when it first started heating up, and we got a lot of notoriety for it. And a lot of those coins, the whiff, a lot of these coins that went crazy, they spawned in the bear market. They didn't spawn in the bull run. The bull run, you have a lot of things going crazy. But like if you were there and you were like paying attention, everybody had an opportunity to get in, right? Like I saw it at 10K. I didn't jump into it. I didn't
All
jump
right,
until it was like
let's take a look right here. Um, let's see. BTC bottom was November of 2022, and Pepe launched April 2023.
yeah.
That's way after the bottom.
Yeah,
That's
but the thing is the bear market lasted a lot longer this last
No,
cycle,
but
right?
what I'm telling you is a lot of these opportunities they came after a significant time after we hit the bottom. Obviously, we didn't know that 16K was the bottom, but that's
What was
like
Bitcoin at
7,
when
8 months.
when Pepe launched? What was the price of Bitcoin?
Um, let's see.
Yeah, we can
I
look.
loved seeing Bitcoin at 16K. I made some
So
good
I
let's
mean,
see how far off the bottom it
let's
was.
see. Let's see.
April, right? You said April.
April 17th. What was the Bitcoin price? April 17th, 2023. Sure, it sure as hell was more than 16K.
Yeah, but you can never
Look it
time the
up.
exact bottom, right? Like we don't know what the
No, but
exact bottom is.
what I'm
It
saying
was
is
Okay,
29,400.
so it was about double what the bottom was, right?
Oh yeah.
And
We're double now
Bitcoin
from,
and yeah,
oh,
so
you mean from that bottom? Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it was a little less than double, but Bitcoin ran to
Less, yeah.
120K, right? So it was around the range of the bottom of Bitcoin, right? It was the bear market. It was
What
still
do you
pretty
mean?
bare.
The bottom was like 15 something, 15.9. So that's like you said, that's a double from the bottom. No, my point is that was the recovery sideways, and it had been slowly recovering for a while. People were itching for things, and if you look at the 4 year cycle, people knew that it was coming soon. They knew that the bottom had to be over with, and they knew that we should be going into that run soon. And that's when the sentiment and the timing really works out. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the 4 year cycle, it's you're probably not going to find that right now. Those ones that are going to turn huge. I mean, sure, maybe it's possible,
Dude, I mean, it happens every bear market, man. Like this is when
but
like it's two different things, right? Like
n-
meme coins, the degen meme coin side, and then the Bitcoin, like it's totally different kind of mindsets and the way that these coins are run. It's not about how where Bitcoin's at. To be honest, bro, and because I'm in here, I'm in the trenches every day. They don't give a nobody in the trenches in Solana gives a shit what the price of Bitcoin is. I'll tell you right now. No, none of them own
yeah, but they
Bitcoin.
all
None of them
the
care.
guys that know their shit are paying attention to the 4 year cycle at least. Because people still believe in the 4 year cycle, at least how it's always because it's still alive. The 4 year cycle still everybody tried to sell you on the 4 year cycle was dead and it just repeated. So I'm a believer in the 4 year cycle until it doesn't work and it's still working.
I think that's been going on every cycle since like 2017. It's like, no, this is the super
Oh yeah,
cycles now.
they always try to sell you against it. So all I'm
Hmm.
saying is if you look at historical data, it's telling you we just potentially bottomed, or maybe we still have one more bottom to go. That's the time to grab safe shit, right? once we get 5 or 6 months away from the bottom, so let's say that 59K was the bottom, right? That was what, how long ago was that? A month?
Yeah,
If you
maybe
look at
less.
historical data, then it probably means that we're still going to appear to be in a sideways slow market in 4 or 5 months. But that's when people are going to start thinking there's got to be some fucking shit coming, you know? And meanwhile, you've doubled up, tripled
We'll
up
see, man. Only
on
time
your
will tell, you know. Like, but yeah, I'm with you on like being conservative and stuff. But in my mind, and I'm way more of a degen than you, right? So like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
obviously. And I'm
yeah,
not saying don't degen. I'm not saying that.
yeah, the thing is like it's the when you're in the trenches and you see the way that like the meme coin like wave and like this new era of young people that are coming in, it's a different mentality. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
like they're two different worlds. They do correlate, obviously, just but it's mainly the amount of money flowing into the market. But as far as like something doing well and something sparking, I don't think it's dictated directly at all. To be honest, in the trenches right now, it's way more active and people are way more amped than I saw when Bitcoin was at 120. Like people, for whatever reason, it's like fired a spark where all these degens are like actually working double hard right now. You're having new things come out on Pump.Fun, like they're finding new ways to launch coins, and it's just like this action in the space that on the Bitcoin side of things, 100% it's time to be conservative, buy it up cheap, hold it. And then the degen side of things is like a whole different world, right? And you know, it's all about being early in meme coins. It's not about picking the right moment. It's about being ahead of it. Especially now, it's like if you can get ahead of something in the meme coin space, that's where you make your money. It's not you don't have time to really like
I mean, it
read
kind of works the
charts
same
and look
with
at
Bitcoin
things.
too, right? If you're looking at the macro and you're kind of seeing what's going on with governments and who's accepting it and, where it's being used, countries now making it legal tender, stuff like that. You can do the same thing with Bitcoin, right? But like with meme coins, it's just kind of on a much hyper scale where it's like things are
Yeah.
so much
It's
faster.
all on chain now, right? Like it's you don't have
Exactly.
lead up. There's no pre-sales where it's like you can get ready for something. It's like you got to be on chain. You have to know how to use the tools. You got to be watching. You got to be locked in, right? So, like you said, it's like depends on what type of person you are, where you're gonna
Well, I
not
think
always do the best, but like just enjoy your time in the space.
the easiest way for me to look at it is when it comes to, you know, meme coin trading, altcoin trading, you're in hard mode right now. This is hard mode. I think it's very difficult to make money. Like if you're really good at it, yeah, you can make stuff in the short term, and that's probably what you should be looking at is how can I make short-term gains so I can keep stacking my Bitcoin. But when you're
That's
talking
always
about
the goal.
those
Yeah.
1,000 X's and those 2,000 X's, you need to have that impending bull market like right. It's like really close, and I don't think anybody feels that way right now. I don't think people feel like the bull market is just right around the corner, right? I think that's the
No, I
feeling you
mean,
kind of have to
it's
have.
only been 2 months ago since Bitcoin was around $100,000.
Well, you know,
That's
another
not
way
that
to
Exactly.
look
long,
at it, like if you know, because things always change. If you look at the altcoin season, right, we didn't really have one. A lot of these coins that everyone thought were going to do really well in the altcoin space, they didn't do anything, and all that attention went over to meme
No,
coins,
it
and
was
you
meme
had
season. Yeah.
yeah, it's all memes, right? So
That's where the liquidity
that
was.
became the new altcoin, pretty much. Like meme coins are the new altcoin. We don't know what's going to come next. Maybe it stays meme coins, but like all of those top 100 altcoins that everyone thought were going to do 50x's, none of them did, bro. Even Ethereum didn't do very well, right? So it's like there is a shift happening, and everything's on chain now.
Yeah,
The way that you do things, it's like it's changed.
Yeah.
recording. People are walking
So
in the
we'll
background.
see what happens though. But I think.
All
What do you
right.
guys think? You think that's a good? That's good for today for the Sunday wrap up. I think we should
Yeah, I
do it
think we
every
went on for a
Sunday and
little while.
just
We've been ranting for like 45 minutes, maybe.
yeah, good. So maybe we do this every Sunday where we just kind of wrap up and give our thoughts and stuff on the week every Sunday. And we're going to continue to do videos every single day. We'll do some tutorials this week on different platforms, and then yeah, let's keep you guys informed.
Yep.
Yep, sounds good.
Heck
Well,
yeah,
like,
Close it out.
subscribe, comment if you guys have anything to say about what
yeah.
we just
Like,
talked about,
subscribe.
and we'll keep the conversation going.
Yeah, yeah. Let's start like a big argument rant. Derivatives and meme coins.
Hell yeah.
There's
All right.
like you said, there's different people that want to hear different things. So.
Yep.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
We'll give it all
Cheers.
to you. Peace.